Hey there folks, Old Man Weather here. If you want to stay ahead of the storm and get the latest updates, make sure you follow SkyAlert USA so you never miss a thing. We'd really appreciate your support. So go ahead and subscribe, give us a like and drop a comment below. Your feedback helps us keep bringing you the weather coverage you count on. Breaking: multiple weather emergencies across North America. Good morning, weather watchers. This is your SkyAlert USA bringing you critical weather updates for Friday, December 27th, 2025, and we have major weather developments unfolding across multiple regions of the United States and Canada that are significantly impacting millions of residents during the busy post-holiday travel period. Winter Storm Devin. Historic snowfall hammers northeast. The most significant winter storm to strike the northeastern United States in nearly 4 years is currently winding down this Saturday morning after delivering substantial snowfall and creating hazardous conditions across major metropolitan areas. Winter Storm Devin, which meteorologists have described as an Alberta clipper on steroids, has brought the region to a near standstill. Current conditions and snow totals. The storm system has produced remarkable snowfall accumulations across multiple states. The heaviest impacts have been concentrated north and east of New York City, with some communities receiving close to 10 inches of snow. In Connecticut, New Fairfield reported 9.1 inches, while Fairfield received 7 inches and Newtown saw 6 inches of accumulation. Parts of Long Island experienced around half a foot of snow, with North Patchogue measuring 6.8 inches and Hampton Bays reporting 6.5 inches. The New York City metropolitan area experienced significant snowfall, though totals were somewhat reduced due to a mixing of precipitation types. The forecast called for 4 to 8 inches across the metro area, with some northern communities receiving up to 10 inches. The Hudson Valley, Long Island and Connecticut bore the brunt of the heaviest snowfall, with the lower Hudson Valley, western Connecticut and eastern Long Island seeing probabilities of 30 to 50% for accumulations exceeding 8 inches. Winter storm warnings were issued for the entire metropolitan area, extending from southern Connecticut to northeast New Jersey and southeast New York, and these warnings are expected to remain in effect through Saturday afternoon. The timing, honestly, proved particularly challenging, as snowfall rates reached 1 to 2 inches per hour at the peak of the storm overnight Friday into Saturday morning. The impact on travel has been, well, absolutely catastrophic during one of the busiest travel periods of the year. More than 1,500 flights within, into or out of the United States were cancelled as of Friday afternoon, with an additional 6,883 delayed. New York's 3 major airports, John F. Kennedy, Newark Liberty International and LaGuardia, experienced the worst disruptions, accounting for more than half of all flight cancellations and delays. JetBlue Airways led all U.S. carriers with 225 flight cancellations, closely followed by Delta Airlines with 212 cancelled flights. Adding to the complexity of this weather event, an ice storm warning was issued for central Pennsylvania counties, including Somerset, Westmoreland, Indiana, Armstrong, Clarion, Jefferson Forest, and Venango. This warning remained in effect through Saturday morning, as dangerous ice accumulations threatened to create extremely treacherous conditions. Ice accumulation exceeded 1/4 of an inch in some areas, raising serious concerns about power outages and hazardous driving conditions along major interstates including I-80 and I-70. The stubborn cold air damming created perfect conditions for freezing rain across the northern mid-Atlantic region, particularly affecting the Laurel Highlands and western Maryland. This phenomenon occurs when cold air becomes trapped near the surface while warmer air moves in aloft, causing precipitation to freeze on contact with surfaces. While the Northeast battles winter weather, California is recovering from a devastating atmospheric river event that has claimed at least 4 lives and caused widespread destruction across the state during the Christmas holiday period. Historic rainfall and flooding. Southern California experienced what officials described as a historic holiday storm, with rainfall totals reaching extraordinary levels. The National Weather Service warned of excessive rainfall across the region, with some mountain and foothill areas receiving up to 12 inches by Saturday. Los Angeles saw projections of 7.5 inches, while communities such as Covina, Santa Clarita and Thousand Oaks received between 6 and 7 inches. Ojai was among the hardest hit areas, with forecasts exceeding 11 inches. Coastal cities including Long Beach, Oxnard and Santa Barbara braced for 5 to 7 inches of rain. Further south, Orange County and the Inland Empire received 2 to 4 inches, with 3 to 5 inches falling in the Santa Ana Mountains and Riverside and San Diego County Highlands. San Diego's coastal and valley areas experienced up to 3.5 inches by Christmas Day. Catastrophic consequences. The atmospheric river produced devastating consequences across multiple California communities. In Wrightwood, a community in the San Gabriel Mountains, approximately 80 miles northeast of Los Angeles, flooding and debris flows encased homes and vehicles in feet of mud. Emergency responders conducted numerous helicopter rescues, pulling residents from rooftops as rapidly rising waters threatened lives. The tragedy extended beyond property damage. A 19-year Sacramento County Sheriff's Office veteran lost his life Wednesday while driving to work after losing control on a wet roadway and crashing into a power pole. In Northern California, a 70-year-old woman was killed in Mendocino after being swept away by a large wave, and a 74-year-old man perished in Redding after being swept away by floodwaters. The Los Angeles County Fire Department reported conducting over 100 rescues during the peak of the flooding. A helicopter crew with the Los Angeles City Fire Department rescued a woman swept downstream in a rapidly flowing wash in the Arleta neighborhood on Friday morning. Tragically, one man was found dead in his vehicle, which had become partially submerged near 58th Street East and Avenue H10 after Thursday's flooding. Tornado touches down. In an extremely rare event for Los Angeles, the National Weather Service confirmed that an EF0 tornado touched down in Boyle Heights on Christmas Day. The twister left behind damaged roofs, broken windows and scattered debris, adding to the chaos of an already catastrophic weather situation. Tornado warnings were also briefly issued for parts of San Mateo and Santa Cruz counties in Northern California, where intense winds caused significant damage. The storms knocked out power to more than 100,000 customers across California at the peak of the event. Bay Area power outages were substantial, with over 6,000 customers without electricity as of Friday afternoon. The breakdown showed San Francisco with 51 customers affected, the Peninsula with 1,020, the East Bay with 70, the South Bay with 763, and the North Bay experiencing the most significant impact with over 4,000 outages. Caltrans closed a 3.6-mile stretch of Topanga Canyon Boulevard, with no estimated time for reopening. Pacific Coast Highway remained open through the Palisades Fire Recovery Work Zone, but crews were positioned in areas most susceptible to debris flows. The storm also forced the closure of numerous other roads and highways throughout the affected regions. North of the border, much of Canada found itself under weather warnings on Friday as extreme cold, strong winds, heavy snow and freezing rain swept across the country from coast to coast. The Boxing Day winter storm blanketed large portions of Canada, disrupting holiday travel and keeping shoppers at home during one of the busiest retail days of the year. The bitter cold and heavy snowfall created challenging conditions across multiple provinces. Canadian weather authorities issued numerous warnings as the winter storm system moved through the country, bringing with it a combination of hazardous weather conditions that impacted transportation networks and daily activities. Saturday, December 27th. The northeast can expect Winter Storm Devin to move offshore, with snow tapering off by mid-morning. However, dangerous road conditions will persist throughout the day as temperatures remain below freezing, preventing melting of accumulated snow and ice. Travelers are urged to exercise extreme caution on all roadways, particularly on major interstates. California finally sees relief from the atmospheric river as sunshine returns to Southern California. However, cleanup efforts continue in flood-damaged areas, and authorities warn that saturated ground conditions mean even small amounts of additional rainfall could trigger new flooding or debris flows. Northern California also experiences improving conditions, though mountain areas continue to receive snow. Canada continues to deal with the aftermath of Friday's winter storm, with cold temperatures and gusty winds persisting across many regions. Lake-effect snow is likely downwind of the Great Lakes, adding to accumulations in affected areas. Sunday, December 28th. A major development begins to take shape as meteorologists track a new winter storm system developing over the Great Lakes region. This next system is expected to intensify Sunday night and move toward the northeast by Monday, bringing another round of significant winter weather. The northern plains and upper Midwest should prepare for the arrival of an Arctic air mass descending from Canada. This cold shot will bring temperatures well below seasonal averages and set the stage for the developing storm system. Wind chills could become dangerously low across the northern tier of states. California enjoys a brief respite with generally dry conditions and mild temperatures. However, weather models indicate another weather system could approach by New Year's Day, potentially bringing renewed rainfall concerns. The Intermountain West sees valley rain and mountain snow as moisture from the Pacific begins to affect the region. While not as intense as the recent California event, this system will bring much-needed precipitation to areas that have been relatively dry this season. Monday, December 29th. The Great Lakes winter storm intensifies and begins spreading into the northeast, bringing heavy snow to areas still recovering from Winter Storm Devin. Multiple states could see significant additional snowfall, compounding travel difficulties and adding stress to snow removal operations already stretched thin. Major travel impacts are expected across the Great Lakes region and into the northeast as the storm system moves through. Airlines are already preparing for potential disruptions, and travelers are advised to check flight status frequently and allow extra time for any necessary travel. Lake effect snow becomes a major factor downwind of the Great Lakes, particularly for areas east and southeast of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. These regions could see substantial additional accumulations on top of what falls from the main storm system. The Arctic air mass fully settles across the northern United States, bringing bitterly cold temperatures from the northern plains through the Great Lakes and into the northeast. Wind chill values could reach dangerous levels in many locations. Tuesday, December 30th. The northeast winter storm begins to move offshore, though lingering snow showers and lake-effect snow will continue in favoured areas. The focus shifts to the dangerous cold as Arctic air dominates much of the northern half of the country. Attention turns to preparations for New Year's celebrations as weather conditions remain challenging across multiple regions. The persistent cold means snow and ice on the ground will remain for an extended period. California weather models continue to show another storm system approaching for New Year's Day, though uncertainty remains regarding the exact track and intensity. Residents in flood-affected areas are advised to stay informed about the latest forecasts. All right, folks, here's some critical safety information for those in winter storm-affected areas. If you absolutely have to travel, make sure your vehicle is packed with an emergency kit. Things like blankets, food, water, a flashlight, first aid supplies, and a fully charged cell phone. It's really important to keep your gas tank at least half full. Also, let someone know your travel plans and when you expect to arrive. If you need to step outside, dress in layers and make sure your outer layer is wind-resistant. Cover up any exposed skin to prevent frostbite and keep an eye out for signs of hypothermia. Shivering, exhaustion, confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss or slurred speech. Before you run your engine, clear snow from your vehicle's exhaust pipe. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a serious risk if the exhaust system gets blocked. Never use generators, grills, or any other fuel-burning devices indoors. Now, for those in flood-affected areas, never try to drive through flooded roadways. Just 6 inches of moving water can knock you down, and 1 foot of moving water can sweep your vehicle away. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Stay away from downed power lines and report them right away to authorities. Always assume all downed lines are energized and dangerous. If you're ordered to evacuate, do so immediately. Don't wait until things get worse. Have an emergency kit ready with important documents, medications, and essential supplies. And for folks in burn scar areas, you've got to be extra vigilant, since debris flows can happen with almost no warning. These flows move faster than a person can run and can carry massive boulders and trees. If you hear rumbling or see a flow starting, move to higher ground immediately. Now, looking at the long-range outlook, as we move beyond the immediate forecast period, the overall pattern across North America is pointing to continued active weather. The jet stream configuration shows that the northern United States and Canada will likely stay vulnerable to Arctic air outbreaks and winter storm systems through at least the first week of January. In California, while there may be some brief breaks in the storm pattern, the chance for more atmospheric river events is still pretty high through the winter season. The state has shifted from very dry conditions earlier on to a more active pattern that could stick around. According to the Weather Prediction Center, most of the continental United States will see dry conditions after the current systems pass through, except for those lake-effect snow areas downwind of the Great Lakes. By the end of next week, the blocking pattern over the west coast is expected to break down, which will allow both northern stream and subtropical troughs to push inland, bringing another round of rain and mountain snow to much of the western United States. And in a real twist, while winter weather is hammering the northern states, the South and the Tennessee Valley are still dealing with record warmth for late December. This unusual warmth is adding to the complex weather pattern across the country, since the strong temperature difference between the Arctic air up north and the warm air down south is fueling the development of some pretty powerful storm systems. Cities all over the south are seeing temperatures running 15 to 30 degrees above average, with some places even setting new daily record highs. This spring-like weather is also causing extra headaches for holiday travelers, as persistent fog and low clouds have been reducing visibility in a lot of areas, leading to flight delays, even in places where there's no precipitation at all. All right, so let's talk about some historical context here. Winter Storm Devin represents the most significant snowfall event for New York City in nearly 4 years. The last time the city got more than 4 inches of snow was back on January 28th and 29th, 2022, when a strong coastal storm dumped 8.5 inches in Central Park. This recent drought of significant snowfall, well, it makes the current event particularly notable and really shows just how variable winter weather patterns can be from year to year. Out west, the California Atmospheric River event ranks among the most intense in recent years, with rainfall totals exceeding what you'd typically see over an entire month, all compressed into just a few days. The mix of heavy rainfall and those previous wildfire burn scars created an especially dangerous situation, since the vegetation that normally holds the soil in place was gone, allowing for rapid debris flows. Now, when it comes to climate considerations, it's important to remember that individual weather events can't be directly pinned on climate change. Still, the intensity of both the atmospheric river hitting California and the rapid development of Winter Storm Devin are, well, consistent with what we'd expect in a warming climate. Atmospheric rivers are projected to become more intense, since the atmosphere can hold more moisture with each degree of warming. And, the contrast between Arctic air masses and warmer air at lower latitudes may also contribute to more intense winter storm development. Moving on to travel advisory updates, transportation officials across affected regions are urging folks to reconsider any non-essential travel plans for the next several days. Road conditions remain extremely hazardous in areas hit by the winter storm, with black ice being a particular concern, since temperatures are staying below freezing, but the roads might look clear. Airlines are continuing to waive change fees for passengers affected by the storms, and rail services have adjusted their schedules in response to the weather. The Transportation Security Administration says December 28th is expected to be their busiest travel day, followed by December 27th and 29th, as travelers head home from Christmas trips and get ready for New Year's celebrations. Economic impact. The combined impact of weather events across the country is having significant economic consequences. Retail sales during the crucial post-Christmas period have been affected as shoppers stayed home due to dangerous conditions, The agriculture sector in California faces substantial losses from flooding and wind damage to crops. Snow removal costs in the Northeast are mounting rapidly, and lost productivity from travel disruptions affects businesses nationwide. Insurance claims from both the winter storm and the California flooding are expected to reach hundreds of millions of dollars. The timing during the holiday period compounds the impact, as many businesses were already operating with reduced staff. Emergency management response. Emergency management officials at federal, state and local levels have been working around the clock to respond to multiple simultaneous weather emergencies. FEMA has been coordinating with state authorities in both California and northeastern states to ensure resources are available where needed. National Guard units have been activated in several states to assist with search and rescue operations, debris removal, and transportation of emergency supplies. The coordination of resources across multiple major events has tested the capacity of emergency management systems. Looking ahead to New Year's. As we approach the New Year's holiday, weather conditions remain a concern for celebration plans across the country. The persistent cold in the northern states will affect outdoor events, while the possibility of additional rainfall in California has organizers of outdoor celebrations monitoring forecasts closely. Traditional New Year's Eve celebrations in Times Square and other major cities in the Northeast will likely take place in very cold conditions, and attendees should prepare accordingly with appropriate cold weather gear. The experience of the recent winter storm has heightened awareness of weather hazards, and event organizers are working closely with weather forecasters to ensure public safety. Conclusion. This has been an extraordinary period of weather across North America, with multiple significant events occurring simultaneously during the busy holiday travel season. Winter Storm Devin has delivered the most substantial snowfall to the Northeast in years, while California grapples with the aftermath of a deadly atmospheric river event. As we move forward into the next several days, additional weather systems threaten to bring renewed challenges to already impacted areas. Stay tuned to SkyAlert USA for continuous weather updates and breaking developments. Remember, weather conditions can change rapidly, so it's essential to stay informed about the latest forecasts for your specific area. Check local National Weather Service forecasts regularly, have multiple ways to receive weather warnings, and never hesitate to take protective action when severe weather threatens. Your safety is our priority here at SkyAlert USA. We'll continue monitoring all significant weather developments and bringing you the most accurate, up-to-date information to help you make informed decisions. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay weather-aware. This has been your comprehensive weather update for December 27th, 2025, covering major weather events across the United States and Canada. We'll be back with updates as conditions develop.